My name's Stephen Fraser. I'm the online editor at Shares Magazine. Welcome to this latest edition of our Spotlight series of company interviews. Today I welcome John Cronin, the Executive Chairman of CYAN, the wireless communications technology company for the Internet of Things. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Stephen. Good to be here.
May I start with just get a brief overview of what CYAN is and what its ambitions are?
Sure, yeah. So CYAN Holdings PLC is actually on the AIM market under the ticker CYAN. We actually trade under the name now CyanConnode because we did an acquisition just recently. And what we're into is the Internet of Things now since the acquisition. What does that mean? It's all about wireless communications, mesh communications. That actually is right from the last mile, right from the homes, in the streets, all the way through to whoever it is, utilities or public authorities who are managing either, smart lighting, smart electricity meters, gas, water, hooking up the likes of meters, that are street cameras, traffic cameras, anything that needs to be managed effectively and efficiently. That's what we do and that's what we offer. We have actually been focused as CYAN really on the emerging markets. And in the emerging markets, we are seen as really the world leader in India. And we've won many contracts in India, which we're really pleased with. Also, what we have is, since we've had the acquisition of Connode, is we're now based in the UK in what is the largest smart metering project in the world. And we've got a contract that actually kicks off over the next couple of months, which is a minimum £25 million contract for that.
It's interesting, John, you talk about Connode. I mean, it's quite a big acquisition that you made quite recently. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Connode and what it's going to bring to the investment story?
Well, it's going to add geographic coverage. So whereas before, as I mentioned, CYAN on its own was focused on the emerging markets, now we can go into the Western world, the Western market. So we can go into Europe, we can go into North America, we can go into Australia. Why is that? Because now we've got various product sets, in actual 3 product sets, which is great. And, Connode bring, with the combined entity now, CyanConnode, the number of points we have out there is over 700,000 points, which is really a strength for somebody that's offering narrowband radio mesh networks. So with the 3 product sets that we have, so we have one, which was the old CYAN one, which is UltraMesh, which is really optimizing a mesh network, which is all about low cost, reliable networks. The next one then is PanMesh, which is really standards based, and that's what Connode bring to us. We now have a standards product which we didn't have before. It's a thing called, Stephen, IPv6. So I don't know whether you know this, but the internet is known as IPv4, and that's running out of addresses. So now you go to 6, which brings on additional addresses, like going from 3G to 4G on your mobile phone. It gives more expansion and more quality as we go forward. Apart from that, then we have a combined product which brings both of them together, and we call that OmniMesh. And this is all about the Internet of Things, and that's what we can deliver, as I mentioned earlier on to you.
Yeah, very ambitious indeed. I know you've been doing quite well in Iran, for example. You signed this £10 million contract, a very big contract historically. Do you want to give us a bit more detail about what that contract means for you?
Sure. So Iran, as you know, the sanctions come off in January, and then just weeks after the sanctions come off, we actually negotiated a contract just for smart cameras, just 2,000 smart cameras. They wanted to see if our product works, it's reliable, is it out the box. With our partner out there, Micro-Moj, they wanted to just test who we are from the Western world. So we went out there, proved the model to them, proved the product, and after that they then said, okay, we now want to get you involved in the smart metering program. And that's something like 32 million smart meters they want to roll out. So we then won a £10 million contract to roll out 360,000 smart meters out of the 33 million. And that's what we're heavily involved with now. Interesting enough with that contract, it's what we call a term license. This means it's a 5-year licensed product, which after 5 years they will have to then renew. And the good thing about the business model there is actually 50% of the contract is on software, so reoccurring revenue, and the other 50% is on hardware. And we're now talking with them about the next stage of £1 million units out of the 33. Our ultimate goal is to secure as much as the 33 million units as we can.
That's fascinating stuff. And very ambitious again. Presumably selling more software equates to higher margins as opposed to the hardware. So that's interesting going forward. I know you've also been quite ambitious in terms of India. You're not aiming for small markets here. Why don't you tell us a bit about what's going on in India?
Yeah, I mean, we operate in the biggest markets in the world. As you say, India is the largest. You know, they are going to roll out 250 million smart meters over the next number of years. We have won the first 4 contracts of advanced metering infrastructure out of India. So we're delighted with that. Not only have we won them, more importantly, we've delivered some of them. And that's important. You know, can you deliver? It's all right winning a contract. So the first 2 out of the block really was, the first 3, I should say, Tata Power, where we deployed meters there, and we're expecting our 3rd contract for them. We've had a 2nd contract, and now we're negotiating a 3rd contract. And then we've got the next one, which is CESC Mysore, where we've got a contract for 21,000 units, which most of that will be deployed in the next number of months. And then we've got another utility called PVVNL. And out of that, we did do a trading update a few weeks back, and that trading update, we said in the first half we'll have something like £1 million of revenue, which is what we'll be publishing soon to the market to underpin that. And the good thing about that, I mean, you know, in itself, it's not great for some companies. However, it is a 500% increase for us in terms of year on year in our performance. So we are now starting to deliver and monetize some of these contracts. We've got backlog, and we're delighted with India. You know, we are key there. We've got key partners there, and we've got something like 34 smart metering, smart lighting contracts that we're chasing. I'm not saying we're going to win all of them, but you know, we will win a good majority of them.
That's great stuff. You mentioned about upcoming results. I suppose from an investor's point of view, it's what are the key performance indicators they should really be looking at in terms of how we should measure the progress going forwards.
And we're mindful of that. You know, we're here for our shareholders, give them return on their investment. I'm a shareholder myself as well. You know, a substantial amount of money for me that I've put into the company, continue to do so going forward. So KPI, one of them, which is key, is reoccurring revenue streams. You know, we're moving more to software as a service, managed services, reoccurring revenues, just like the Iranian £10 million contract that I mentioned. That's a term license for 5 years. We want to replicate that across the piece. In India, we've already done a managed service contract per meter, per year as we go forward. That's key for us. What also is key, of course, is geographic expansion. So we've expanded into Thailand with a partner there, JST, who's also an investor in the company. So that says a lot. If you see a strategic investor putting money into a company, that says something to me because they know what's going on in their territory. So delighted with that. And really what we want to get to is really moving forward with pushing as much into the country that we operate in. And as I mentioned, the largest markets, you know, we're looking at not only in India and Iran, but we're looking at China, we're looking at Brazil, we're looking at Africa, as well as Europe. So we want to, made in India, made in Brazil, we want to move the hardware manufacturing to partners in country and do it under license royalty payment. And then we'll just provide the software. So when you look at, you know, ARM Holdings, you know, they got bought recently by SoftBank for 24 billion, you know, I mean, that is a dream, obviously. But, you know, they started the same size as us. You know, they've got a great model, so we want to replicate that model. And that's where we're moving to, you know, today moving from hardware and software that we provide more to make it in India, make it in Brazil, the hardware, and we'll have the reoccurring revenue streams of software.
Well, that's ambitious indeed, and not a bad model to pursue, certainly in terms of the ARM model. Thanks very much, John. That's been most fascinating. I hope you've enjoyed that bit of information. Thanks very much.